Deep Dive with David Stendahl, where we trade without ego, no emotion, no greed, and no opinion. Before we begin tonight's video blog, please read over our trading disclaimer and remember to trade smart and accept the reality that trading futures is risky. This presentation does not provide buy-sell recommendations, and our information is strictly provided for educational purposes only. As always, trade at your own risk and analysis. Hey there, it's David Sten with tonight's Deep Dive. It is November 14th, 2018, and given the big, huge move in natural gas, I've got to obviously talk about that. So the ETF is UNG. This thing is on fire, pun intended, and I would be very cautious about looking to invest in this particular market right now, despite the fact that everything is up and away here with the short, intermediate, and long term, the seasonals pointing the upside. I think that very shortly here we're going to start to see some pivots that are going to occur here in the elastic level, possibly the wave level here fairly soon. So there's nothing showing right now, but I would suspect that we're going to start to see some profit taking here fairly soon. If we take a look at the deep dive, what we have is kind of an earth-shattering indicator, pun intended again. With natural gas right through here, we have a high in the EQ, which is an earthquake indicator. It tells you that the market is in a major move, and we'll have multiple days where we can have this earth-shattering type movement. Part of that happened yesterday, obviously with the high 1, but when you get that kind of a major move, you can also have some follow-through, and that is definitely what happened in natural gas here today. So here's a chart here for natural gas. This is today's move. You can see that we're off the highs, but not too far, and that particular move is substantial. We have the elastic level, which rarely ever gets up to 100. It's deliberately calibrated in such a way that it's normalized, and it really just doesn't get up to 100 like a lot of indicators on a regular basis. Not this one. So the fact that it's at 100, that tells me something, that this is, and you can see it by the action, a major move here. And major moves are those, especially in natural gas, where you can have reversals. So we could still have more movement to the upside, but you can also have quick reversals as well. So you've got to watch your position very, very carefully. And if you decide that you're going to get into something, you might want to look at it on a short-term basis, if anything. So just expect more fireworks here in the coming days or so. If I flip back here, actually, I wanted to show one other thing here. Here is a weekly chart right here, and this will give you an idea. This is the resistance level that it was able to break through today. I would suspect that when, I'm not saying when it's going to happen, but when it does reverse, that this would be the threshold that we'd be looking at, because a weekly bar like that, and then follow through with another 10 weeks, because these are weekly bars, that's substantial resistance when we broke through it, and it broke through it so quickly, like a warm knife through butter, that there's probably going to be a retracement here eventually. So that level that it should be looking at is 4.338. So keep in mind just how far above we are of that particular threshold right there, that would be the logical spot, that if we're going to retrace, that's where we'd be coming from. That's the saying that the market could stop and reverse again to the upside, but do keep that particular level in front of you. Now, I just want to give you some perspective. With today's action, we're up a little over 14%. This little dot here, this yellow dot here for November for natural gas, historically over the last 14 years, looking at daily bar returns, the biggest return we ever had in this month, a single day, it was 13.64. So over the last 14 years, we never had a bigger day until today, where we're up 14.34. It could change, but that's essentially where we are. You can see in previous years that we had certain days where it was up substantially. So it's not uncommon for natural gas, especially when it starts getting a little bit colder, to have major moves here. So just bear in mind that from a historic perspective, over the last 14 years, this is the biggest day that we've seen. If we take a look at CVAR, which is conditional VAR, and this is for the month. Now this is as of yesterday, so it doesn't even include today's action, but here is natural gas as of yesterday, where the high level, normal high returns and or normal low returns would be 13.82%. In this particular case, we're at 25.76 as of yesterday. So tack on another 14-ish%, and we're talking about a substantial move here. And this is for the month so far, and that 13.82 represents close of month. So we are dealing with monthly information as opposed to the daily that we were looking at just a second ago. That being the case, a lot of things can happen. We're only on the 14th, so we still have another 15 or so days for the month of to have some type of reversal. So I'm just giving you some perspective historically on a daily bar basis, on a monthly bar basis, really what we're looking at. If we take a look at historical returns for natural gas, as of yesterday, 25.76 for the month. That's where it stands right now. If we tack on the other 14% that we had today, we're going to be above this 34 range. And what we're looking at is something that was obviously very substantial. Now, by the end of the month, it could fall back, but that's where it stands as we speak. And so it'll be interesting to see with the threshold that we had, that major move that we had today, if that's something that's going to be to hold on until the end of the month, or if there's going to be some type of a legitimate reversal. I'll show this from the seasonal tendencies. Here's a 5-year chart. And this is as of yesterday. It actually says the 14th, but that was done at midnight, so it's not incorporating today's information. And so you can see that normally on the 5-year chart that we still have some more upside potential here. On the 10-year chart, there's even more potential. Now, with natural gas, you can have these violent moves as we see here, that would have occurred in October. There was a bit of a reversal. It wasn't substantial, but we have been forecasting and looking for a nice pop to the upside. I think this year it just simply occurred a little bit faster than, at least from my perspective, than I was looking for. But we'll see us run out if there's any more upside potential here, given the fact that I think we got well ahead of itself. But that's what it was looking for, and so we are prepared for this type of a move right through here. Now, the systems have actually been long from 10:30 and 2 other ones on the November 7th. So they've been in for a while. So any subscribers have been able to see that this has been underway for quite some time. So we have some substantial profits here on a per contract basis with 3 separate systems and then trading multiple contracts in certain instances per system. But in that particular case, we got a nice open position profit. But I would suspect that this, again, being weekly bars, that there'll be some type of a retracement back down to this threshold, and our systems rarely will ever catch the exact top or the exact bottom. In fact, we'll probably see the top, and then there'll be a reversal, and that reversal is where our systems will liquidate themselves. When we get into these earthquake phases, this again coming back to the website, that these earthquake phases, this is where we can still have some continued follow through, but it certainly tells you on a daily bar basis to expect more fireworks, expect reversals, expect sharp thrusts to the market. And if you're uneasy with those types of conditions, natural gas is never a market that you want to trade, because I've seen these particular moves many times, and they're great when when you're on the correct side of things, but because things can reverse very quickly, don't wedge your trades, because there's probably going to be some type of reversal here coming fairly soon that you'll want to take advantage of and be able to unwind part of that position. So watch the position page. Let's see what we can do to take some of these profits off the board here, lock them in, and or just simply look for continued volatility, because I'm certainly sure that we're going to be seeing that. In fact, I'll be doing a webinar tomorrow that will be talking about seasonal tendencies. So today being Wednesday, having just gotten back from a small trip, I pushed the webinar to tomorrow at Thursday at 11 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, and I'm sure that we'll be talking about seasonal tendencies and the specifics around certain markets, and I'm sure that I'll be talking a little bit about natural gas. So with that, I appreciate the time, and we will take a look at another market tomorrow. Thanks again. Bye-bye.